Yo, my name is Marius. I'm 28 years old, and I'm a Norwegian with a lot of free time. So I've decided to learn Japanese, and now I've done it for 6 months. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my abilities right now. I hopefully this is going to be a bit different than most update videos, because I'm going to try to be objective, even though it's hard, about my own abilities. But the truth is that I still suck. Well, when I started out, I'm gonna just go quickly over what I've done up to this point, but the main focus is gonna be the how good am I? Yeah, so when I started out, I did lazy kanji. I did the 1K most common kanji, repped it for 2 months, and then I deleted the deck. Never looked back. Nope, didn't really see the value in having a keyword for each kanji. Especially because, you know, didn't really use those keywords. Yeah, and then after that I did the Tango books, N5 and N4 books. They're pretty good. I mean, they're I+1 mostly. Sometimes they're not, but mostly I+1. And then after that, I've been sentence mining. My immersion has been pretty good. Like, I have a lot of free time. Apart from the days when I make videos like these, I don't know why I'm doing this. Just procrastinating, and if I like go out with friends, or you know, stuff like that, sometimes life happens, and that's fine. But I'd say the average is at least 5 hours a day on immersion, and then 1 to 2 hours in Anki. So I'm pretty dedicated. I started reading early because I really wanted to read. So I started like even before I finished lazy kanji, and well, I was really looking at the pictures and and pronouncing the hiragana. That was basically all I was doing, and looking at the kanjis that I could remember from lazy kanji. And apart from that, I didn't really understand anything at all. But I can see now that I have improved a lot in 5 months. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I did the cold turkey monolingual transition. Not really cold turkey, because I still look up the branches in the in the bilingual dictionary. I look up the branches from the monolingual dictionary in the bilingual dictionary. So yeah. But like when I read and when I watch stuff, I'm not looking things up on Jisho. I'm looking them up on in Colibri. It's been hard, you know, but it's getting better. And if I just stick with it, then it's gonna eventually be smooth. It's eventually gonna work. I have this point here that says, "What makes me special?" Yeah, I'm pretty special. No, but really, as you might have noticed already, English is not my mother tongue, my first language. That is Norwegian. So I think it's a good thing to know a second language, because you know what to expect. You know what to expect when you're learning a language. Even though as many people say, when you're good at a language, you can't really remember how it felt to suck at it. So I can't remember being bad at English, even though I've been consuming English media for like 20 years. And I can't remember a point where like I didn't understand something. It's kind of weird. I can't remember not understanding. Anyway, the point is that you have more realistic expectations to your language learning. My goal in Japanese is never going to be like get to native level. It's going to be get to a level where you're comfortable, the same as English. You know, I can do pretty much anything I can do in Norwegian and English, even though people will realize that I'm not English or American very quickly. The other thing that's special is that I'm Norwegian, and the language Norwegian is a pitch language. So hopefully it'll help me acquire the Japanese pitch in a more relaxed way. I don't really want to study it that much. I know if I'm still shit at it after like 3 years or something, then maybe I'll open a pitch. I'll study some pitch, but I'll hopefully acquire it naturally. Mostly, I'm still gonna I still know like the 4 different kinds of words, and how they work, but I'm not really paying attention to it consciously. I'm just hoping that my innate ability to recognize pitch from my mother tongue is helpful when it comes to Japanese. What I have noticed is that I tend to like put Norwegian pitch onto Japanese words. That makes it really weird. So, but I notice it at least, like, oh, that sounded pretty fucking weird. Yeah, and then there's the third thing that's special about me, and that's the fact that I'm absolutely terrible at learning words in Anki. It's the worst. Like, I'm horrible at it. I remember Matt said in his Q&A or something that well, when he was learning Chinese now, the word comes up and he fails it, and then it comes up again later, and then now he knows it. I cannot relate to that at all. I fail a word, and then I have one word, like first I fail a word, and then there's another word that comes up, another sentence, and then I maybe pass or fail that, and then the other word comes back up, and I still, like, it's been like a minute and I can't remember it. So I it's obviously not like the memory that's the problem there. It's the fact that I can't really acquire the word to begin with. I can't really like take in the word to begin with, which is frustrating. But in the end, like, my mature retention rate is fine, so it doesn't really matter, other than the fact that it's pretty frustrating at the beginning when you're trying to learn a word for the first time. So now for the juicy bit, the interesting bit that that is going to be a little bit different from what other people do when they speak about how good they are. Like, well, how good am I? I'm terrible. It's horrible. But no, it's yeah, I am. But I I know I'm better than I was, and that's the thing. Like, when you're learning a language, it's really hard to not notice how terrible you are, how little you actually know. When you're watching stuff all the time you can't really understand, and stuff like that. So, you know, it's hard to figure out how good you are objectively, because you feel like you're terrible, but you're much better than that, probably. At the same time, you can go to the other end. Some days I feel like I'm fucking understanding everything, and but that's also not the case. Like, I'm just thinking that I do. I don't really. So, how do you go about, like, objectively thinking about how good you are? Well, I tried looking into Morphman, seeing how, like, of one episode of some simple slice of life anime, how much could I understand according to Morphman, and that was about like half of it. I know that's not the case. Like, some episodes I feel like I understand more, and some I feel like I understand next to nothing. And it comes down to, like, your state of mind, and also, like, how the different sentences, what they're talking about, if it's something recent you've learned and stuff like that. You know, it's hard to gauge how good you are at a language, how much you understand with percentages. Well, that was like half according to Morphman, that is I+0, and 2/3 that are I+1 or less. So I+1 or I+0 or I+0.5. So that's, like, you should be able to understand a lot of simple slice of life anime, and yeah, I do understand a lot of it. I can follow the plot mostly, but just to, like, show how stupid Morphman is, well, not how stupid it is, how little this actually matters. I've got some examples here. Got them sorted. Oh, the browser. Right. So if we go to my tag here, examples, here, these are sentences that I should, like, understand completely according to Morphman. I've looked at this sentence a little bit. Like, I can sort of understand it, but, like, if I heard it, then I would have no clue. Like, if I just got this. I wouldn't have gotten, like, this part at all, I think. Maybe I've gotten some of this, but, you know, it's hard to judge. And then there is also, like, this is from Monogatari. This is, well, I would have been able to keep up somewhat here. Oh shit, and then I would just lost it towards the end. Like if I read it like this, I could sort of like spend a lot of time and then maybe understand it, but that's not worth my time. Like, you know, but according to Morphman, I should know this, but I don't. I really don't. And then there's the other side of the story, like here. This is the word dragon, you know, in Japanese. I understand this. This is fine, but according to Morphman, I don't know the word dragon. But I'm not going to go over all the different morphs. That's not how I use Morphman. And tag them all individually, like, yeah, I know this one. Yeah, so I'm not gonna do that. This is even worse. There's a lot of like interjections with like yeah, like, I know this. This is stupid. This is not I+1, and this as well. This is just auto. Yeah, and that also names as well. It's yeah. So, well, do I understand 50%? I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to understand. The important part is, how does it feel? Like how does it feel to watch an anime without subtitles now? Well, it feels enjoyable. I really like it. I think it's fun. I've been watching mostly slice of life, and my ability in Japanese definitely helps me understand the plot and follow the plot. But if they're suddenly talking about something like I'm not versed in when it comes to the language, that's not every day. Like if they suddenly decided to talk about, I don't know, fertilizer and how to fertilize different kind of flowers and plants and stuff, then I would have no clue what they're talking about. So if I branch off to other kinds of anime, like action or well, anything that isn't slice of life or romance, then my comprehension definitely drops. But at the same time, like Japanese is Japanese. I still know the words I know from slice of life, so it helps me follow the plot to a great extent. Together with imagery, I can definitely enjoy it. Maybe not to the same extent that I can enjoy slice of life, but I'm still enjoying it, you know. So when it comes to reading, I've read a full light novel and half of the second one in the series. According to Morphman again, I'm gonna do Morphman stats here. I should know a third of the book, and half of it is I+1 or less. So I mean, technically I should understand half of the sentences in the book, but that's definitely not the case. The sentences are long and often contain loads of grammar that I'm not seen like used together and stuff like that. So even though I can maybe get like the gist of the sentence, I usually don't comprehend it fully. There's a lot of ambiguity. But like I've now that I've read a full novel, light novel, the first half was really rough. Like I felt like I was just reading out the hiragana. I was just sort of pronouncing the sounds in my head and very rarely like understanding a full sentence or something like that. Dialogue was better though. Like the dialogue was fine. Usually able to at least comprehend it to some extent. But well, when I got halfway through or a little bit more, I stopped using reading on my computer and I used my Kindle. Bought a Kindle. That helped a bit. Well, I tried to like not use Yomi-chan too much, but it's really easy to just like hit shift and look up a word and then forget it the second you close the Yomi-chan tab. So now that I've got a Kindle, it's a lot more, you know, even though it's easy to look up a word, it's a lot more effort than it is to just do it with Yomi-chan, because it takes a bit of time and before the word pops up, and sometimes it selects the wrong thing, and sometimes the word it selects like the conjugated verb and it doesn't give you the right thing, the right definition. Especially now that I'm using a monolingual dictionary, it's yeah, now I look at words a lot less frequently, because even though I look them up, I really don't understand the definition most of the time. Sometimes I really want to understand the word. Like if it's a good sentence and I feel like if I understood this word, then this would make sense, you know. Then I would just look up the look up the dictionary words the words in the dictionary that don't know with my phone. So it's like 3-stage process. Yeah, using the Google Translate OCR, which is pretty good. Like taking a picture of my Kindle. It's a interesting process. I don't do that much because it's time consuming. So I just read and don't look up that much. Sometimes I do understand the monolingual definitions, and that's good. That feels nice. If I hadn't seen like the animated adaptation of this book that I'm reading, I think it would be really hard to follow along. So after all, reading a light novel, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and that's the important part. I've been really enjoying reading lately, even light novels. So that's the important part. Even though I understand like not that much, but I can follow along because I've seen the anime. Right, and then there's manga. I've read quite a few volumes of manga. I don't know. I said I'm a huge non-Biori fan. I've read nearly all of it. Also read like this is Yuri Yuri. It's pretty fun. This doesn't have Furigana, but it's easier than non-Biori because I don't know. There's just more text in non-Biori, just more, just more dialogue. So yeah, it's fun. I feel comfortable reading it. Like I can read a full manga without looking up a word. I'm not saying that I understand every single word, but like I can read a full manga and then I can I don't understand something, and that's fine. Like it's comfortable. I understand enough that it's fun. Even though it would probably be more fun if I understood more. And once again, like if they talk about something that I don't know, like a weird subject, then I can't really follow along. I just sort of skim through it, and then yeah. So I have an example from a manga that I've read here. Like I could read most of this. There's some words I don't know. Like I've seen this a few times now because I've prepared this video. But you know, this word I don't know what it means. But don't really need to know what it means to like understand this. And then there's this. I don't really get this sentence. Well, I do now because I've looked it up. But when I first read it, I didn't. So yeah. So this is an easy page. It talks about everyday stuff. So this is comfortable. I can understand this. Maybe not all the nuances, but I can read this and be comfortable. I'm just going to quickly talk about my Anki stats before finishing, because, you know, everyone seems to do that. So, well, I just recently realized I couldn't write Kana at all. So I downloaded a quick deck and then made a recall deck from that. So that's why I've been having so many reviews lately. But it's still quick, you know. So yeah. I just have everything in one deck here. It's a Norwegian word for mine. And then the stats for the mind deck it's pretty, like, you can see like the retention is like 77. I'm using a 140% interval modifier. But that's not like the whole truth of this, because, you know, even though it looks kind of shit with 70% retention rate, if you look at the mature rate, it's pretty good. Like that's where I want to be. I even set like the Anki simulator to 80%, but this is great. I'm hoping to keep this up. That's last month. It was Deck Life. It's still pretty good. Yeah, but the new cards and the while learning and the young cards, they're a bit worse. But that's fine. Like I'm assuming that's just because I haven't actually acquired. Well, I haven't actually learned the word yet. Like I'm just passing the card and remembering the word through some other method, like I don't know, yeah, you know what I mean, through the method of the context of the sentence or something like that. So these stats I'm fine with, even though it's pretty annoying to not, you know, to fail that many cards every day. Oh yeah, and I also tried a bit of the Yoga Pants idea with doing nouns. Done 5 a day. What I quickly realized was that you know, words that have a single kanji is pretty hard. That's basically just doing RTK, but without the stories, and those are not necessarily kanji that I know. So I think my stats for this deck is pretty bad. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to continue, but I mean it's something that's worth trying. Yeah, you know, it's pretty bad. But these cards are super simple to rep. Like, it takes half the time for sure. Yeah, this is even like too much probably. And then there's the Tango decks. They're stabilizing pretty well now. You know, pretty good retention rate. I think the entire N5 deck is mature at this point. So this is fine. Yeah. So what is the grand conclusion? How good am I at Japanese objectively? Well, I am sorry to disappoint, but I don't know. I feel like I'm terrible, but then again, I'm able to do things that I wasn't able to do just a month ago. And I'm able to read manga for enjoyment, even though I don't understand everything. I'm able to watch certain anime and feel like I understand all of it, even though I know I don't. But I mean, I feel like I'm getting the plot, you know. It feels good. I'm also able to watch anime and not understand anything if the sentences are too long and there's just too much dialogue, and I just sort of phase out, you know. So the conclusion is going to be like every other video. I feel like I'm terrible, but I've improved greatly in like the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So I'm just going to keep trucking, you know, keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm pretty sure I'll eventually be good, even though it'll probably never feel that way.